The United States of America, comprised of 50 states. But wait a minute, what if the map looked like this? A 51st state called Jefferson, made up of Northern California and Southern Oregon. Or how about a new state called Western Maryland or North Colorado? These are real movements gaining traction with voters.
We're at this point of irreconcilable differences.
Jeffrey HARE runs the 51st State Initiative in Colorado, an effort to fight an out-of-control legislature trying to ram big government policies down the throats of voters. It's the talk of town hall meetings.
I have seen changes happen, particularly over the last 10 to 15 years in this state, that concern me.
It's predominantly left versus right, but it's urban versus rural because you typically found more traditional conservative values in rural America.
And that's the crux of the issue. Rural Americans across many states feel they're just not being heard. Their laundry list is long, and at the top, gun control laws.
They are out of touch with rural Colorado. There is an attack on rural Colorado, and it's not just with the gun control laws, it's on several of the other bills that they passed.
Indeed it is. The government mandates cover renewable energy, environmental policies that restrict oil and gas drilling, and controversial social issues like gay marriage. Organizers want to create North Colorado, and that idea went to voters in 11 counties this past fall.
I don't think that that's necessarily the way to make something happen within the area that you live. You're supposed to work within our electoral services.
The so-called secession movement here in Colorado had mixed results this past November. Some counties approved it, others didn't. But the organizers of the 51st State Initiative say, hold on a moment, this type of movement takes time.
Movements take a while, education takes time. People do have a hard time saying, I want to live in a different state, even though they physically live in the same house. Mm-hmm. It's hard for them, since their lives have been Coloradoans their whole lives, to say that I'm going to be a new Coloradoan or I want to live in the state of liberty or something different.
That desire for something different can also be felt in states like Arizona, Michigan, and in Western Maryland, where thousands have signed secession petitions. One website reads, quote, "We intend to exercise our right of self-determination and self-governance to better secure our rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness."
If they're not going to listen or take our needs into consideration and govern in a way that's more in accordance with how we wish to be governed, we are seeking an amicable divorce.
In Northern California and Southern Oregon, activists want to come together in the state of Jefferson. Their proposed state flag includes two X's, representing their feeling of being double-crossed by the state capitals of Sacramento and Salem.
We need signatures. We need boots on the ground of people that want to go out into your neighborhoods, your churches, your jobs, wherever you're at, and explain this to people and get signatures of support.
Creating a new state isn't easy. As a matter of fact, the last time a state actually gave up territory was in 1820 when Maine split from Massachusetts. Since then, additional efforts have been unsuccessful. The first step is getting it passed by the state legislature and then on to the U.S. Congress.
This is a valid constitutional process that our founding fathers specifically wrote in the Constitution. Well, if they didn't write it into the Constitution to be used, then why did they write it in?
But supporters have an uphill battle. The media will not be their friend.
The danger is that once the outside media starts to grab hold of it, the attention is on the difficulty, the almost impossibility of it happening.
State secession proponents will keep fighting because they say the dismissive attitude of state legislative bodies must end.
I find the sort of arrogant dismissive to be further proof as to just how disconnected the urban is from the rural.
Movements like this in Colorado and other states could be just the beginning.
This isn't a Weld County problem. This is a national problem.
It's called voter discontent, where the people say they've had enough and they're crying out for something to be done.
We at some point have to figure out a way to get our point across, or at least to be able to have a dialogue and not be ignored. Because if you haven't seen anything yet over the next 5 to 10 years.
I think ultimately what people want, whether you look at it from a right or left paradigm, is people want government to stay out of their business.
David Brody, CBN News in Greeley, Colorado.